Next up, a look at the course that will make or break over 1,800 triathletes at Saturday's Ironman World Championships, and a bike that will blow your mind. TriCenter starts now. Welcome to TriCenter, your source for Ironman World Championship news. I'm Ann Wessling, and with me is Luke Bell. Now, Luke, you're going to join us all week in Kona. You getting excited for that?
Yes, looking forward to being here from Wednesday through race day, and time's coming around very quickly.
Now, we're looking forward to having you join us, and I know all the athletes, most of them are there right now. They're preparing. Give us an idea of what the course looks like from an athlete who's done this before.
Race morning's always an interesting one. You wake up, nerves, anticipation. It's going to be hot and humid. Cannon fires off at about 6:45. That first, 400 yards to 800, half a mile, is, it's a hectic pace. It's pretty much a washing machine. There's arms, legs flailing everywhere, and you pretty much get beat up for 2.4 miles. Turn the boat at the turning can, head back towards the pier, and you hopefully stay intact with the main bunch to exit the water. Onto the bike, it's that first 3-mile loop through town, up Kuakini, U-turn back down. It's where the nerves, I think, come into play. It's the make or break stage really of the bike course. The pace is extremely high. The guys are hitting speeds of close to 30 miles an hour. This may last for the first 40 minutes to an hour until you generally go past the airport, and then the pace will settle down quite a bit. You try and make sure that you're in the main bunch, which generally in the past they've called the Harvey Express. You're in that bunch, you're looking good for the rest of the race. You dismount the bikes, you've just ridden 112 miles and swum 2.4 miles. You're going to be tired, but all of a sudden you get this, it's a bit of a raw energy out there, and this is a long road ahead. You head along Palani, it's like an oven out there pretty much. You've raced for 7 odd hours, but the race doesn't start until you reach the Queen K. You've exited the energy lab and you've got pretty much, I think, close to 7 miles back to town. You're looking at 40 minutes to an hour, and this is pretty much where the race is won or lost. If you can make it to the top of Palani in first position, you're home and hose, smile on your face, walk across the line, a big winner.
It's an incredible race. Thanks for the overview. Thank
you.
Now, Liz Hitchens of Triathlete magazine is actually in Kona. She checked out the course firsthand earlier today, so let's go to her for a look at the current conditions.
Here we are at the start of the Ironman World Championship at the Kona Pier. On Saturday, over 1,800 athletes will take to the waters for the 2.4-mile swim. Let's go check out the course. Well, the water's really warm, and I'm pretty sure it's the most beautiful swim course I've ever been on. The water's calm right now, but on race day with 1,800 athletes, it won't be quite as nice. Let's go check out the bike course. We're out here on the Queen K. Pretty windy, facing a pretty tough headwind right now. Fairly common. Had a pretty good tailwind headed out north on the Queen K. Now we're headed south. It can get pretty hot out here, so the combination of the wind and the heat can feel just like a blow dryer trying to battle against you. There's really no protection out here from the wind. It's pretty much just you and the lava and the other riders. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the run course. Now we're at the turnaround section on Ali'i Drive. Athletes will have to come down Ali'i, then return back into town. This is the fun part of the course because there's a lot of spectators and a beautiful course to look at. But then they'll have to head down the Queen K and to the Energy Lab where it's not quite as nice. Let's go check it out. Now we're at the toughest part of the course, the energy lab. This is the toughest part for two reasons. Number one, it's towards the end of the marathon, so obviously you're tired. And number two, it's the hottest part of the course on the hottest time of day. Now let's go to the most exciting part of the course, the finish line. Well, we've come full circle and we're back here at Palani Road, the side of the finish line. Right now there's cars behind me, but on Saturday there'll be tons of screaming fans waiting to see who will have won after a long day out on the course. Thanks for watching this course preview, and we'll be back after a short break.
The inaugural Rock and Roll Las Vegas Marathon and Half Marathon, the real deal you've been waiting for. High-energy, action-packed courses that scream the excitement of Vegas, and a finish line festival that you'll never forget. Register at rnrvegas.com today.
TriTalk is back, and because it's Kona week, we've lined up some special guests to take your questions from the Big Island.
Hi TriCenter. I've done some Olympic distances and 70.3 races, and now I want to do my first Ironman in 2010. Do you have any tips to make the jump up to the Ironman?
Look, this is my first time as well, so I'm a 70.3 specialist myself. I've done many 70.3s, and it's my first time stepping up to the Ironman distance. I guess hopefully what I've done is right, but we'll soon see. Mostly I've made sure I've got my nutrition down pat, I've practiced it in training, and made sure that I know somewhat what to expect out there with a 5-hour ride and running off the bike. I don't know, I can't really give you too many tips because I know what I've done, but I don't know if that will work for everybody. I guess nutrition's the key and making sure you're really well prepared in that respect.
So I've always raced with a wetsuit, and I was just actually wondering what the biggest difference is actually going to be without wearing a wetsuit and with wearing a wetsuit. I have a big race coming up and I'm not going to be wearing the wetsuit, so what is the difference between wearing a wetsuit and not wearing a wetsuit?
So there's a temperature cutoff between whether you wear a wetsuit and a non-wetsuit swim. If it's a non-wetsuit swim, a lot of the people nowadays are wearing swim skins, which is a small 1/2 mil neoprene suit that you put on top of your normal tri-suit that you just do the swim in. Here in Kona, it's going to be a non-wetsuit swim, so a lot of the pros and most of the age groupers are going to be wearing the swim skin. So one of the big things to remember with wearing a swim skin is to try it out before the race day, and also a lot of lube in between kind of the chafing areas like your neck and underarm. There's people here in Kona coming out of the swim after trying their suit out for the first time and they just have cuts everywhere. You're going to notice when you go into a non-wetsuit swim that you're obviously not going to be as buoyant in the water. You're going to be sitting a little bit lower because the wetsuit, the neoprene and the rubber makes you float higher in the water. But then again, your swimming, all your swim training that you do in the pool is without a wetsuit, so there's not too much different there. You'll be okay, just watch out for those other guys punching and kicking. Lorenzo Bizzoni, out.
Thanks for sending in your questions. To be featured on TriTalk, send a short video clip to tritalk@competitorgroup.com. After the break, we sit down with Faris Al-Sultan. Don't go away. TriCenter is back in just 15 seconds.
Looking for a good long-term investment besides stocks and real estate? The Range Rover Sport is predicted to have the highest residual value in its class. Range Rover Sport, the luxury that's more than a luxury.
German-born Faris Al-Sultan won the Ironman World Championship in 2005 and followed up his win with a third-place finish in 2006. Now, Luke, you caught up with Faris and you got to talk a little Kona and a little bit about the new bike he'll be racing this year.
Yes, Faris was in town with his bike sponsor Marcus Stork, so we sat down with him and talked Kona and the week ahead. So let's check out the clip.
We spoke with Marcus and said, hey, yeah, you know, new weapon for Kona, and he said, I'll do it.
Faris, welcome. We're here to talk about your new ride for this year. Tell us what you look for in a bike.
Well, of course, it has to be a stiff bike. You don't want to waste any energy that goes into the frame and not on the road. Looks are important as well. It looks terrific.
So taking all that into account, what made you choose Marcus and his company Stork?
Well, his road bike was already perfect, and he was willing to support the new team. Marcus himself knows a good deal about bikes, but of course it would be simply a waste of time if you do not include the athletes that are actually riding your stuff every day in the process. And so, you know, we brought in some ideas of our own. In 4 months, he brought a new bike, and I think this is a new level.
So the base for the bike was the Aero 1, so we set a very high stiffness result to it, and then we were looking into the aerodynamics, so we said, okay, to make it more aerodynamic as the Aero 1, we have to narrow the tubes and we have to make an own handlebar stem system to get all the cables into the frame, so the Aero 2 is only for Di2 shifting. And the biggest part was obviously to have the invisible brakes, so that we really built all the brakes into the fork and into the seat stay. We have started with a 55 centimeter frame, 47 and 51 to follow, and we're expecting to ship the first bikes out at the end of the year. The plan is this year to be under the top 20 in the bike count, next year top 10, and hopefully then in 3 years under the top 5 in the bike count. And I hope that the athletes love our products and our bike.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Most of all, I guess your knowledge in technology, and we look forward to things, you know, great things in the future.
Thank you very much, and we cross the fingers for Ferris and Kona.
That's it for TriCenter. Remember, we'll be coming to you daily from Kona starting on Wednesday, October 7th. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. You want this Garmin? You know what to do. Tweet at TriCenter by the 10th and you could win. I've got a plane to catch.